Hey everybody, Dan from Headwaters Kayak, and today we've got two compact fishing kayaks. They're both go for $7.99, so I thought it'd be fun to put them side by side and talk about the difference. So we're going to start off talking about the Moken 10 Lite because this one's brand new, redesigned for 2023. They call it the V2 because they went bow to stern and updated everything on this new boat. Starting at the front, you'll see that they do a twist lock hatch. So a big opening to the inside of the boat, which I think is pretty cool for a boat this small. Typically you're going to have a very small hatch, but they were able to pack in a pretty large hatch. On the V2, they also went from molded foot pedals to adjustable foot pedals. So now you've got quick twist lock adjustments. You can dial that in for your foot position. They also added a really cool sonar pod. It doesn't go all the way through the boat, but you can put your battery in here, stow your extra transducer wires here. You can have your power wire come out this little waterproof grommet, and then you can run an arm over the side for your transducer. So kind of a unique concept there. It has enough of an area where you have a little bit of a standing platform, although you'd have to be pretty agile to stand in this boat because it is only 30 inches wide. And really both the boats we're talking about today are designed for smaller people. That's the point of this video, is these are small, compact, portable fishing kayaks. The biggest upgrade for the new V2 is the chair. Everyone loved the Moken V2 when they upgraded to this chair, and so they wanted to find a way to do it to the 10 Lite. It took a lot of redesign on the deck, but they were able to fit it in here. And not only fit the chair, it also has a high-low position, so you can adjust your height for the kind of paddling or the kind of fishing you're wanting to do. Behind the seat stays pretty much the same. You've got a pretty decent-sized tank well, more accessory tracks along either side, a couple of flush mount rod holders. But this is unique. They actually added the ability to add a rudder to the Moken 10 Lite. So if someone wanted to, you could put the rudder on, drill some holes, run lines up to your pedals, and have a steering system. Just like all Feelfree kayaks, the Moken 10 Lite also comes with a wheel in the keel for easy transport. So now that we've got to know the Moken a little bit, let's compare the two boats side by side. The Ultralight you may be more familiar with because this has been in the lineup now for a few years. It is kind of the quintessential small, compact, ultralight fishing kayak. This thing comes in at 49 pounds, says their website. Although I just carried both up. The Moken, they said 59 pounds, and we just carried them both upstairs, and I'd say they felt pretty similar. So I would be kind of curious to actually put them on a scale side by side. But it would make sense that the Moken's a little heavier. It does have a few extra things like the center pod, the larger front hatch, a little bit more molding in the seat area. But one of the things I love about the Ultralight is how open it is and kind of that simple open deck layout, easy to stand in, easy to fish in. So on paper, these two boats are really, really similar. They're both 10 foot, 2 inches long. This one's 30 inches wide. The Moken is 30¼ inches wide, so basically the same. Weight on the two, this one comes in at 50 pounds. This one comes in at just under 60 pounds. Overall capacity, the Ultralight says it's 280 pounds. The Moken 10 Lite says it's 250 pounds. On the water, I've paddled both, and I'm definitely on the bigger side at 220. They feel about the same as far as stability goes, as far as paddleability goes. They're not too dissimilar. So I think if you fit in one, you'll probably fit in the other. Just keep in mind, they're both geared towards smaller people. Somebody, I don't know, 5 foot to 5'8", and 100 pounds to 180, 190 pounds is going to be fine in both these boats. But as you start bumping up against that 190 pound mark, you're going to find yourself less stable. So the Ultralight has a screwed in handle. This is a heavy duty plastic handle that just screws into 2 threaded inserts. The Moken over here is a molded in handle, and those molded in handles go all the way around the boat, just like the Crescent has these plastic handles that go all the way around the boat. The front hatch on the Ultralight is this small little twist lock hatch. It's a 10-incher, so you can get a dry bag down in there if you'd like. They do a bungee on top of it, so if you wanted to just stick some stuff, easy access, maybe you wanted to put your shoes, your flip-flops, you have a bungee there on top. It does kind of get in the way of the hatch, but it's easy enough to just pull it out and give yourself easy access. You kind of have the best of both worlds there. You've got adjustable foot pedals that are quick and easy. You grab the red lever, they slide back and forth. On the Moken, we showed you, they have the twist lock feature, so you can do it from the cockpit without having to reach. They both work the same, it's just kind of different approaches. Big thing you'll notice on this boat is the open deck layout. Really, all of the Crescent boats are really open and simplified deck layout. You have lots of room to maneuver around. Easy to throw a kid, easy to throw a dog, easy to stand up if that's something you wanted to do. Both kayaks also have track systems on them, although Feelfree uses a proprietary track that you need either an adapter or you have to buy a Feelfree Mighty Mount to mount stuff to this track. Whereas over here you have a Yak Attack track that is pretty universal. Any of the Yak Attack, Ram, Railblazer, Scotty, any of that stuff will mount directly to this boat. As we work our way back, you'll see they both have little cup holders. This one's a little bit of a deeper recess, it goes in there, but this one has a little bungee to support the water bottle. The seats themselves, both using frame chaired seats. The Feelfree has a really high backrest, but for a smaller paddler, you may want to sit in it because that might get in the way of your shoulder blades depending on your height. Whereas the Crescent has a little bit more curve to it and a little bit lower shoulder cutouts. That's really going to be personal preference. I can't express enough how important it is to find a shop and sit in these boats if at all possible. Other subtle details to consider are paddle holders. This one's got a paddle holder on either side. The ultralight does not. Behind the seat, this one comes with 2 flush mount as well as little rod leashes. This one comes with Yak Attack Mighty Mount, so you can't actually just stick a rod right in here. You have to buy an additional accessory. But having these Mighty Mounts means you can add any accessory you want or any different pole holder you want, so it gives you a lot of options there. Again, personal preference. If you're just looking for a quick throw and go, these are really easy to use. If you want to customize something, this is a very cool option. It has 2 points where you can add rod leashes if you wanted to add those to it, or if you wanted another secure point to tie down a black pack, you have a couple of pad eyes here. The tank well in the back of this one definitely fits a black pack. It would fit a milk crate. It's got these twist knob adjustments so you can really dial in your bungees. Or if you wanted to add, say, a camera pole or a light, you can add those right to the tracks without having to drill additional holes. It also has some foam that glues to the tank well to quiet down your ride, so if you are putting stuff in the back, it's not knocking around. This one has bungee as well. It just pops off so you can still add additional items in here. It's just not quite as adjustable as the ultralight. And then as we look at the keel here, it has a lot of keel, which means it's a great tracking for a little boat. It does not have a wheel in the keel or a replaceable keel, which a lot of boats are coming with nowadays, just because as kayaks get drugged, this spot can get real thin. So having a wheel or a drag strip is a nice addition. That's all the superficial stuff, but what's really important is hull design. I'm always preaching that. The way a boat is molded and designed is really what makes it paddle either great or maybe not so great. So let's flip these 2 boats over and have a look. So Crescent does a really unique center keel design. It's deep in the water and this helps the boat track really well. For a 10-foot boat, this boat handles incredible. It has these wide flat sides that give it great stability. But this narrow keel center helps it track and helps it have really good speed for a 10-foot boat. I know a lot of people that have paddled this boat or bought this boat over the years and have been really happy with the whole performance. Handles great in flat water as well as moving current. Just an all-around really good design. One thing to note about the Crescent design is it doesn't have quite as much volume on the chines as you're going to find on the Moken. So the primary stability is a little bit less, but it has a really solid secondary stability. So this boat will feel like it wants to rock and roll, but really locks into a secondary edge. But the flip side of that is that's what makes it feel playful and easy to paddle on the water. So when we contrast that with the Moken, you see that it carries its buoyancy all the way out to the far edges and all the way up into the bow, all the way to the stern. So even though it's the same width, the Moken 10 actually feels quite a bit more stable on the primary. It doesn't rock to the secondary and maneuver quite as much as the ultralight, but for a fishing kayak, people often want the most primary stability. So it does that very well. You'll see that they do these huge tracking grooves that give that keel an opportunity to bite in the water. So these deep grooves are gonna hold the water, help this boat track when you're underway. But when you're going at slow speeds, it maintains its maneuverability and this kind of slides across the surface of the water. So kind of 2 different schools of thought, but on a very similar boat, similar design. I would say if you're looking for something that's a little faster, a little more playful, that ultralight is probably going to be the one. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit more forgiving, more stable, then the Moken 10 Lite is probably going to be your choice. So now I'm just going to give you guys my unfiltered opinions about these 2 boats and who maybe I think they're right for. I think the Moken 10 Lite packs a lot of value into a small package. There's a lot of features on the V2 that kind of separate it from the crowd and make it a really compelling story. But I think the ultralight still holds on because of the simplicity, because of the build quality, because of the made in US story. I definitely think this is a kayak worth owning. If I was going to buy one, man, I think if I was doing more fishing and wanted a just kind of a stable platform for recreation, I would probably go with the Moken 10 Lite because I feel like it's a lot of boat for the money. If I was bringing, let's say, a mom and a child, or bringing a dog with me, or maybe fly fishing, I think I would go with the ultralight. Or if I was going to be floating rivers and wanted something a little bit higher performance, the ultralight would be a good choice for that. Really, you guys, I don't think you're going to lose no matter which way you go. They're both incredible values at $799. If you have the opportunity and you have a shop like we're here at Headwaters Adventure Company in Reading today, come sit in both, try them both. And if you have the opportunity, yeah, go for a paddle. Because I could only tell you, features, nuts and bolts, prices, weights, things like that. But ultimately, you sitting in the boat will tell a lot of the story. So thanks so much for hanging out and talking about kayaks with me today. If you guys have any more questions about either one of these boats, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to get to you. Until next time, this is Dan wishing you happy paddling. We'll see you on the next one.